one more video to react to, and this time is it Sweet Pea? Sweet Pea. That is Pernell Whitaker.
Olympic gold medalist, undisputed world champion. Enough said.
Is Pernell Whitaker. Pernell Whitaker, master of the sweet science. Master of the sweet science. I have never heard of this other guy also.
Beady southpaw.
I'm very careful about making comparisons in the different eras. Pernell Whitaker matched in there. He matched in there with any generation.
A counter-punching dynamo. A defensive wizard.
Like any artist, Whitaker has his own style.
He's
dazzling footwork, lightning quick hands. The completed picture he paints on boxing's canvas had almost always been a pugilistic masterpiece.
Boom, perfect timing.
Sweet Pea.
One of the fastest.
Boy, there is nothing sweet about this pea, bro. These
Quickest fights in USA history.
is not sweet at all.
And that was it.
Pernell Whitaker.
Born, raised, and still makes his home.
Boxing since he was a child. Whitaker fought hundreds of times as an amateur.
It is a boxing career which began at age 8, and it's a career which blossomed into an amateur campaign which saw him go into the ring more than 200 times.
I had 500 amateur fights. I don't know where that 200 came. Don't cheat me.
Win 2 world championships, a Pan American Games championship, and ultimately an Olympic gold medal.
In the red corner, Pernell Whitaker of the USA.
There could be no question about that.
He was that good. He was that special. Gold medalist in the Olympics. He had everything.
The key element of Whitaker's success has been the support of his hometown, Norfolk, Virginia. It seemed as if half the city turned out to welcome him home from Los Angeles.
The gold medal run made him a hero and sparked high expectations for him as a pro.
ABC Sports presents the U.S. Olympic boxer's professional debut. Pernell Whitaker, the Olympic gold medalist and world champion at 132 pounds, will seek his first professional win tonight after an amateur career that resulted in more than 200 victories. The first of the gold medalists to become a world champion. They think he is that skilled. Southpaw who can counterpunch, he can lead. He is a good defensive fighter.
Man, he's so small at this time, man.
Good lateral backward movement.
He's
escaping. They get into red just a bit here in the first round.
In a night of gold, 4 members of the U.S. Olympic boxing team made their pro debuts.
This was his
20
debut.
seconds remaining now in the second round.
Whitaker did exactly as he was expected to
Polo really staggered. Takes another left
and
hand.
put on a
And
clinic.
that will do it. The referee, Joe Santarpia, ends it in the second round.
He's a left-hander and put on quite a show in that first outing. He also won the amateur Triple Crown, and that's really worth talking about because that's the 82 Pan Am Games, the World Championship, and the Olympic gold at 132. His opponent is Dan Avery, is also a left-hander.
Just let it shine through.
And we go with round number 1 for Pernell Whitaker in the gold trunks against Danny Avery.
He scored a TKO on Danny Avery, but it happened during a commercial break.
This is round number 4, and another left hand by Whitaker has been stopped after the 4th round. TKO victory for Pernell Whitaker.
Whitaker seemed to have no problems adjusting to the pros.
So we're about set for Pernell Whitaker, who won the gold in the lightweight division. No Olympic lightweight gold medalist has ever gone on to win a pro title. And we are ready for action with Humberto Barrera, the referee, here in Corpus Christi. Long before he does again. That was a flash knockdown. Good right hand to the body, a good left hand again. And Whitaker keeps putting that pressure on. Round 1, scheduled for 6.
He fucking got him.
And Pernell Whitaker will come out of this one with a mark of 4 wins and no losses as he dominates thoroughly.
Fought 7 times in his first 10 months as a pro.
But the man of the hour here in Norfolk is the hometown hero, Pernell Whitaker, the lightweight champion at the Los Angeles Olympic Games. Very interesting young fella, a man who has begun his professional career in undefeated fashion. Sweet Pea, as he's known. Into the ring comes Pernell.
Bist du immer zu spät?
The referee is Al Rothenberg. He does not score.
He was great. He was great. He could have been the author of the sweet science in some ways.
And that dropped Senegal. That one came out of nowhere. Senegal goes down.
Master of the sweet science.
And he enjoyed doing what he did. You know, he had fun in it.
And Whitaker, the only boxer to win the gold by a knockout. Just 21 years of age and a record of 5-0 in the 5 fights in a span of 7 months. So he is getting his professional experience very quickly. 2 quick right jabs by Whitaker has Hatfield keeping his distance.
It's in evidence early here in the first round.
The little boy is becoming a man, man.
Pernell Whitaker.
Many called John Montez the first real test for the rising Whitaker.
22-year-old Pernell Whitaker is preparing for only his 8th professional fight. But in recent years, it has not been uncommon for fighters of such limited experience to be regarded as budding championship contenders. Today's scheduled 10-round battle with 24-year-old John Montez of Los Angeles looms as Pernell Whitaker's toughest bout so far. The first scheduled 10-round bout of Whitaker's professional career. And as the bell rings, Whitaker is already in the middle of the ring.
Nice uppercut.
The old-timers would say, he's staying right in front of you, couldn't hit him in the backside with a handful of buckshot.
Whitaker showcased his incredible defense and counterpunching skills.
You can't get him.
The veteran was fighting like the rookie, and the rookie was fighting like the veteran. Indeed, Whitaker appears at this point. The bell brings the crowd to its feet in support and appreciation.
Pernell secured the unanimous decision over Montez.
We win by unanimous decision. Mayweather.
Unbeaten to this point in his career, but ready today to step up in class and face by far the most dangerous opponent he will have met so far, Roger Mayweather. The stage is set for this 12-round North American Boxing Federation lightweight bout.
The 6 wins, 4 losses.
Sweet Pea dropped Mayweather in the first round.
That's a hook, man. That's the right hook.
And immediately you see Mayweather's Achilles heel.
Roger showed heart, but the fight was a one-sided run.
Round 3 coming to a close, and again, it has been a Whitaker round.
Pernell won nearly every round and collected the W.
It's been a tremendous experience, learning experience for Pernell.
And he's giving it a rousing finish.
That's a win by unanimous decision.
That's it.
And this
Win by a unanimous decision.
Mexican towns and in towns of Mexican population to throw money in the ring at the end of a fight. The Norfolk crowd thought enough of this fight. There are coins coming into the ring.
He was now the NABF champion.
Whitaker wins his first title of any kind, and
In another supposed step-up fight, Whitaker took on Miguel Santana.
Pernell Whitaker.
It's going to be one about who can establish rhythm initially, who takes charge of this fight, and then who's able to maintain his concentration as the fight progresses.
Once again, the counter-punching dynamics of Sweet Pea were too much for his opponent to cope with.
He was like that great jazz, artist that could create the beat as he did it. His own beat, his own
Stay
music.
down.
It was him. It was Pernell.
You have to stay down, bro. Oh, it's over.
And another step closer to a world professional title in his 14th bout.
Yeah.
He is awesome. He is tough to fight. And it was a game Santana.
WBC lightweight title on the line between the 23-year-old Virginia native Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker and this man, the well-traveled veteran Jose Luis Ramirez.
Finally, Whitaker would get a shot at the WBC lightweight title.
Doubles up that jab, back
so
to it.
Sweet Pea put all his abilities on full display.
Southpaw versus southpaw matchup.
Exactly.
Good work with the jab from Pernell Whitaker. 16th fight of his pro career and the WBC lightweight title on the line. The ability to use the legs as Whitaker gets away again.
Pernell's elusive footwork kept Ramirez chasing all night.
Distance in that first round, Whitaker was circling the entire time, and Ramirez couldn't get near him.
He outboxed. He used the ring, as Pernell could do. He could stand right in front of you, or he could use the ring.
Whitaker easily secured the unanimous decision win, is how the story should end.
And congratulations in the...
Man, this guy, but I have never seen him knock anyone out, man.
Corner with Lou Duva and Pernell Whitaker. Lost in translation, I think not. Unbelievable split decision goes to Jose Luis Ramirez.
Oh man, that is cheating, bro. That is just bullshit. How the fuck did that guy won that fight? He did nothing. Split decision? Man, these referees are just fucked up, man.
It's a terrible decision. Including when that fight, I had a 160, 112. I thought he did everything he was supposed to do. That's just terrible.
I said, he had his first loss relatively early, 16th fight. Oh, he lost to a guy, Jose Luis Ramirez. And you said, yeah, what's Jose Luis's record? And then I look across, 100 wins and 6 losses. And it was for a WBC light.
Man, what fight are these people watching?
He got robbed. He got robbed in that fight. He boxed rings around this decision.
Almost everyone who watched the Ramirez-Whitaker fight felt that Whitaker was the winner.
Whitaker wouldn't have to wait long before getting another shot. This time against Greg Haugen.
Look at they mess up his record, man. God damn.
Champion and the #1 challenger here in the IBF. Get set to get one of the things Greg Haugen might have expected from Pernell Whitaker was for him to fight going backwards. But look how aggressive Whitaker is being.
The stolen decision had taught Whitaker the importance of aggression.
Another good we need a knockout this time, no decisions.
Again, Greg Haugen just laying on the rope.
He pounded on Haugen, round after round.
Well, then tough to understand his strategy.
No decisions, man. Knockout. Yeah. That's it.
Boom! And there, a solid blow from Whitaker, and that is a knockdown.
A tremendous inside left hand counter punch. Greg Haugen was jumping in.
You need few of those, man.
First time he has ever been down as a pro or an amateur.
Every move he tries, Whitaker counter punches. He can't seem to defend himself against the jab of Whitaker, and this strategy of going up against the ropes and just... And Whitaker reacting to the crowd, giving them what they came to see.
Whitaker coasted to a unanimous decision victory.
Yep. say unanimous decision victory, man.
aus deiner Region. Gibt's bei Edeka.
Live like
Maybe the first time was a cheat, man.
to be a cat.
Yeah, he was fucking robbed.
Pernell Whitaker celebrating here in the ring.
The winner by unanimous decision, the new IBF lightweight champion of the world, Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker.
He was now the IBF lightweight champion
That's
of the
the way
world.
to go,
There's something
man.
special about a guy who could stay right in front of you, and be calm enough to see everything coming, have radar, and you couldn't touch him. That was Pernell Whitaker. He was special.
Definitely special.
In his first title defense, he cheek-clapped Louis Lomeli.
Louis Lomeli's on Queer Street. What a left to the chin, and Al Rothenberg is going to let him fight. I'm surprised Lomeli got up, and it's all over.
He is the man.
At last, Whitaker would get a chance to avenge his only defeat. A defeat most considered a robbery of a decision.
The definitely was a robbery, man.
Controversy would soon begin
Definitely
as
was
Whitaker
a robbery.
listened in stunned disbelief when he learned he lost.
My impression was that he called himself robbed, that he did nothing to win. He only fought to obtain a decision, nothing else. But for a championship, he did not do anything.
How can a guy fight as hard as
I
I
respect you for that.
train as hard as I trained for that fight and have a blow served to me that way?
This time, the fight would take place on Whitaker's home turf.
Pernell Whitaker enters the ring here in Norfolk, Virginia. More reminiscent of Julius Caesar entering Rome than a boxer entering the ring, Alex.
He can dance circles around him early. It's a matter of if he can sustain it.
That's the rematch. Let's go for a knockout, man.
Now, what Ramirez can't handle is the hand speed.
No robbery this
And
time.
the angle. And the fact that Pernell moves his head well, moves his upper body well. Even when he's standing right there that close, Ramirez just can't land anything.
Whitaker was a true practitioner of the sweet science.
He could have been the author of the sweet science in some ways when they coined that phrase, that moniker. It's supposed to be about being clever. He was clever.
I mean, if there's any one of these judges who has any of these rounds, even or for Ramirez, they should lose their license immediately and walk home.
I agree.
The fight was completely one-sided.
It's all Pernell Whitaker. Sweet pea.
He avenged his only defeat, and he'd captured another title.
Whitaker applying the pressure and landing.
Man, this guy is so small, bro. Look at his size and the size of this guy. He is fucking small.
His defensive genius only grew. Even going backward, Sweet Pea was always on the attack. Whitaker became known for his flashy evasions of incoming punches.
Whitaker. Pendleton going for it all. Looking as if he knows he must have a knockout to win. And that's it.
This is an
And it
again.
looks from this vantage point.
Well, this guy never knocked anyone out. Always decision.
As if Pernell Whitaker will retain his title.
He is so
This
small,
fight
he
capped a
cannot
tremendous
knock out
12
anyone.
months, which saw Whitaker named Fighter of the Year for 1989.
Whitaker puts his title on the line against Azuma Nelson. the WBC super featherweight champion.
Prize fight fans and judges who I respect think that Whitaker is a terrific fighter. They sing his praises. Wonderful, wonderful, and yet again, wonderful. But I'm not that convinced. I whisper his praises. But if he can dominate a Zuma Nelson, who added...
What is gonna convince you, man? Bro, his
best was probably the best fighter you never saw, then I'll be glad to join the chorus.
Incidentally, most of the instructions in Whitaker's corner are being delivered not by Lou Duva, but by George Benton.
And it's tough to land a punch.
Every time Nelson stalks in resolutely to try to pursue the attack, Whitaker stings him with 2 or 3 jabs. Very little that Nelson can do against that kind of hand speed and instinct.
And still, the WBC IBF lightweight champion of the world, Pernell Whitaker.
Whitaker took aim at unifying the lightweight title for the first time in over a decade.
Most of the guys I've been fighting lately have been moving back away from me, so that enables me to be aggressive.
He ended the fight in the first round.
Finally! Oh, finally! This time, no decision.
The undisputed lightweight champion of the world, Pernell Whitaker.
He was now the first unified lightweight champion since Roberto Duran.
The last man to hold the distinction, the legendary Roberto Duran. In 1978, Duran held the WBA and WBC titles.
At this point, Whitaker was in his prime, and the competition was hopelessly lost trying to compete.
Whitaker's going for a knockout.
And Diaz playing a little possum. He's back with the right hand. And now they're trading blows to the face.
He's hurt. Probably the right side of his ribs are broken.
Whitaker was criticized for making his fights look too easy.
He's considered one of boxing's best, and in the past 2 years, Pernell Whitaker has convincingly beaten everyone he's faced. Whitaker's problem is that he makes his fights look a little too easy. He tosses too many shutouts.
It's a tough, clean fight. Protect yourself at all times. Any questions here? No. Any questions? Let's get it on. Come on.
You got Let's Get It On from Mills Lane, and there's the bell.
Blazing combinations landed at will.
Crazy
uppercut landed for Whitaker.
Hey, jabs.
Whitaker's beating great.
Gracious punches would be ineffective at this point.
Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker.
During this time, Pernell was widely recognized as the greatest boxer on the planet.
Now, staying at light welterweight for good reason, we take a look at Pernell Whitaker. The reason
he is not even close, bro. The light of George Foreman, Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, bro, now.
Pineda are on the same bill. Well, you guessed it. We mentioned it. If Whitaker wins tonight, he's in with a shout at Pineda's crown.
Racking up 6 defenses on his unified title, the longest streak in lightweight history.
Of course, the undisputed lightweight champion, Pernell Whitaker, stepping into the ring and moving up. And again, we were both kind of amazed that he went up as much weight as he did.
Whitaker moved up to the light welterweight division.
Straight left hand by Whitaker. Left hand puts Smith down on the canvas with 8. Up on 9, it is over. So a first round knockout here by Pernell Whitaker.
Pernell showed no signs of slowing from the added weight.
You still think Pineda beats Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker?
Well, I have to think that because I've said so.
After the quick tune-up, he was ready to challenge Rafael Pineda for the title.
The IBF Junior Welterweight Championship of the World.
Despite some believing Whitaker would be outmatched against Pineda, it was another clinic. Whitaker emptied the champ's tank, then dropped him with a body shot.
He fought Anthony Jones earlier in his career.
Oh. Man, that's a I wear tight clothing, high heel shoes, and he is down. It doesn't mean that I'm have a good time. The body shot does the job. He is so down.
He was not the IBF Junior Welterweight Champion of the world.
One-time undisputed lightweight champion at 135 pounds. He's now 13 pounds heavier than that.
In his next fight, he was tested like never before.
He has a WBC welterweight championship ahead against Buddy McGirt in March. And this a testing fight.
He passed the test with flying colors.
Sweet bean.
One of the fastest, quickest fights on USA history.
There's nothing sweet about this bean.
And that was it.
There's nothing sweet about this pea.
And Chavez's record at the time was 87-0.
Pretty good.
I'd say.
Pretty good.
Up next, a super fight against Julio Cesar
The
Chavez.
argument always rages in boxing, and it's as old as the sport itself. Who's the best pound for pound? And I think these are the two names that always get mentioned, and so that's what made it really such an attractive affair.
Julio should do the job.
A chance to settle once and for all who was the pound for pound king.
The reason is that these two guys are just flat-out good fighters, Barry, and the styles that they have should mesh into a very interesting bout.
And you can hear the crowd here at the Alamo Dome, some 70,000 and change.
It was an action fight.
Julio is very experienced.
Both fighters throwing punches in bunches.
Chavez doesn't flinch when he gets punched. But Chavez getting infuriated, and he goes right in.
Most felt Whitaker was ahead as the final bell rang.
Again, the strap.
Man, this score is going to be tied, man. This score is going to be tied.
That's it.
Whitaker was right.
Both fighters thought they won.
The decision is a majority decision draw.
Draw.
The fans is going to be my judge for this fight tonight.
Okay.
And I think the fans, if you take a toll, it would end up 90% Whitaker, 10% Chavez.
Really
Well, I think Pernell Whitaker came up with a tremendous performance against Julio Cesar Chavez, and in my mind, won the fight.
Not many agreed with Chavez or the judges.
Jose Luis Ramirez and Julio Cesar Chavez. Which one of those was more disappointing? Because I thought
Both of them were disappointing.
He's the challenger tonight as they fight for Vasquez's junior middleweight championship. And once again, we can't emphasize it enough, a chance to become only the fourth fighter in the history of the sport, joining Hearns, Leonard, and Duran in winning 4 titles in 4 different weight classes.
Only Duran before has won a lightweight title and a junior middleweight title. That's a 19-pound leap.
We take a look at the record of Julio Cesar Vasquez. 52 wins. The only loss was a disqualification when Vasquez's trainer charged into the middle of the ring to dispute the referee's ruling that Phillips had not hit Vasquez after the bell.
Pernell attempted to make history by moving up for the middleweight title. Early on, he got caught trying to be cute.
A shouldering Whitaker goes down on a left hand and then tackles Vasquez. And Tony Orlando, I think correctly, is going to call that a knockout.
No question about it. Julio Cesar Vasquez, 4 rounds to 3 in rounds.
It appeared Whitaker had bitten off more than he could chew at his new weight class.
He makes it very, very difficult for Whitaker.
Good hard left over the top for Whitaker. He's had 2 of them here in the 8th round.
The fight was an ugly one.
Tony Orlando, 1-point deduction from Vasquez for holding behind the head.
With Vasquez continuously rabbit punching and holding. Vasquez could only resort to cheap shots as his early lead evaporated.
Another point deduction by Tony Orlando.
Whitaker won the unanimous decision and was now the junior middleweight champion. He continued his historic reign.
Pernell had to soften Gary Jacobs up for a while.
He made routine work of world-class competition.
Oh, there you go. The game possible.
He's a great fighter, but he's not
Gary
the greatest
Jacobs lasted until the final moments of the 12th round. Next, Pernell would win back-to-back fights against Wilfredo Rivera.
And finally, round 1 begins. Rivera with a solid left cross right on the button. Not a hard puncher, Rivera.
Rivera went the distance both times.
And if Whitaker wins the round, it becomes a 10-8.
Now it becomes
a 10-7 round, possibly.
Round 6.
At age 33, with 40 wins and no true defeats, Whitaker was a 6.
I thought he have a bit of fight in him, man. Why? Why did he stop it, man?
Time champion. A super fight with rising star Oscar De La Hoya was set.
In a battle for the top rung on the mythical pound-for-pound ladder. 23 pro fights, 23 wins, 20 KOs. World Championships at 135 and 140. Now he tries for another one at 147.
Pernell Whitaker was a phenom, one of the greatest defensive boxers of all time.
Pernell Whitaker demonstrating with his body language he believes these moments belong to him. The professional record, 40 wins, the 1 loss to Jose Luis Ramirez, an obvious bogus decision.
And reigning pound-for-pound king, the defending welterweight champion of the world, Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker.
That's you, baby, that's you.
Oscar was the media favorite heading into the match.
I thought he could have won that fight, and it was he was a shadow of himself.
And La Hoya was 23-0 at the time.
Yeah,
he was at his prime.
Look at this, Oscar battling back.
And Pernell wasn't in the best of shape. He was past himself, and I still thought he could have won that fight. I mean, that's how close that fight was.
Both Olympic champions.
Man, these fights are crazy, man.
Right hands in the face of Pernell Whitaker.
I got a lot of respect for Oscar De La Hoya.
Oscar is really good.
The fight went the distance.
And let's go to Michael Buffer for the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go.
Yeah, man, they definitely earn each other's respect, man.
To the scorecards for the winner by unanimous decision.
Oh, Oscar won.
Amazon bietet allen frisch gebackenen Eltern einen
I thought it
Familienbonus.
was a split decision.
Als kleine Unterstützung, wenn Ihre Familie wächst.
Dein Leben sollte sich keiner Routine anpassen, sondern deine Routine deinem Leben. Cliff Bar, der ultimative Energieriegel.
And new
heavyweight champion of the world.
Oscar did it. Oscar did it.
The decision loss would mark the end of Sweet Pea's reign. Tragically, at age 55, Pernell Whitaker was hit and killed by a car.
Virginia Beach police have confirmed the person who was killed after being hit by a car last night was boxing legend Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker.
And last night at 10:04, Whitaker was struck by a car in the intersection of Northampton Boulevard and Baker Road.
And today, hundreds of people came to Norfolk Scope to celebrate the life of boxing legend Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker. Whitaker was killed last Sunday after being hit by a car in Virginia Beach.
Whitaker, who was nicknamed Sweet Pea, was a world champion in 4 different weight categories. He was 1989's Fighter of the Year in Boxing Magazine, and in the 1990s, he was named pound for pound the best boxer in the world.
Pernell Whitaker belongs on a list of great lightweights of all time.
And if Whitaker wins the round, it becomes a 10-8 round.
A counter-punching dynamo.
And now it becomes a 10-7 round. Possibly.
Whitaker was a true practitioner of the sweet science. Pernell Whitaker, Sweet Pea.
Nobody brings it home.
Man, that ending was really sad, bro. That was really, really sad. It's a sad ending. But the guy was a fierce fighter. He does not have those, power punches like that of Joe Frazier or George Foreman or Muhammad Ali or Mike Tyson, but he is a really, really technical fighter. He is really good. He makes sure when it goes to the decision, he is the winner. And that is all it takes, man. Alright, guys. Thanks for stopping by to watch me stream, man. Really appreciate it. I'll see you whenever. Bye.